I'm building a mask for my favourite game franchise. Why? Are you going to make me play a stupid game where I have to rock a baby to sleep or pull the udders of a cow?
No, well, I do need to review a game. It's been over a month.
Will I have to do 20 reviews like last time, remember?
This is why I'm giving you something you'll enjoy.
Is it cheese? Please say it's cheese.
No, this.
Yes!
Welcome back to Martin's Games, and it's that time again. I get to review another Crash Bandicoot game. This time it's Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, or as they like to say... So in 1998, 1 year after Crash Bandicoot 2, Naughty Dog decided to release another game in the Crash Bandicoot saga. And this was sadly Naughty Dog's last core Crash Bandicoot game. They made Crash Team Racing after this, but this is their last platforming game. And a very sad one at that, because this is probably the last decent Crash Bandicoot game in the series. But anyway, let's move on and let's compare this game to the other two games in the series, which I've also reviewed. If you haven't seen them, I'll link them in the description or in this card bit above. Please go check them out as well. But also, I must warn you, I do have a lot of nostalgia for this game, not as much as the second game, but still, bear that in mind when you listen to my review. So let's look at the controls, and they're basically the same as the second game, and they still feel pretty good. So it's the D-pad or analog stick to move, X to jump, square to do your spin attack, circle to slide and belly flop, and that's all your basic controls. But there is one big difference in this game. As you beat a boss in this game, you receive a power up. But more on the power ups later as we get into the boss part of this review. And I must say the music again is absolutely fantastic and still probably one of my favourite soundtracks in the PlayStation library or whole gaming library. Still prefer the second one, but this is still pretty goddamn good. Just take a listen. So just like the first and second game, this is a 3D platformer, but more like the second game where you have to collect 25 purple crystals and defeat Dr. Cortex, and these are done in warp rooms, just like the second game. You can also collect the gems in the game by smashing all the boxes in one level, and collecting all of these will give you the true ending. There are not just 3D platform games in the game. I keep saying in the game. There are also different types of levels too. For example, there's underwater levels, or there are loads of vehicles for you to ride, from planes to jet skis with pirates. Oh yeah, and this is the first time Coco is playable. Well, kind of playable. She's normally in a vehicle or riding a tiger. And I have to say, that tiger is so goddamn cute. I love him. Nearly as much as I love cheese. Ooh, cheese. Be right back, as the kids say. Yeah, sorry about that. Where was I? Oh yeah. So you might be thinking, cool mate, all these vehicles and stuff must make Crash 3 even better, man. Yeah, that was me trying to sound cool. I know I don't sound cool at all. But no, for me, it doesn't make this a better game. I think there's too many vehicle levels in this game, and it just makes it a little bit worse for me. That's why I prefer Crash 2. I really prefer the 3D platforming games. That's what this game is based on. Look at the first game. And I know Naughty Dog were trying to mix things up a bit, add a bit of different levels in here, try and make it a bit fresher and new, but for me it just didn't work. And I know a lot of people out there prefer this game because it's different and has different levels in here, but for me it's just too many and I just don't like it as much. I'm not saying them levels are bad, I just prefer the 3D platforming levels to flying a plane or riding a bike. And that's literally the only bad thing I have to say about this game. Everything else in this game is literally perfect. Oh yeah, and I nearly forgot, they added a new type of collectible in this game. It does nothing to the percentage, but I think it's a great addition. And these are time relics. So once you finish the level, you can then go back into it and hit that clock that's floating there and you'll start a time trial. Now this is a great addition to the game as it brings more replay value. It, like I said, does nothing to the percentage, but trying to get a relic in each level, like a gold or a platinum, I think is a good addition. And just like the second game, there are also hidden levels. For example, in one of the biking levels, if you hit one of the alien signs on the side, it warps you to a separate level. And there are a lot of these around the game. And I just love these little secrets. So let's talk about the story. So it carries on straight from the second game if you 100% the game. As Cortex falls from his spaceship, he lands on Earth and unleashes an evil entity known as Uka Uka. Now Uka Uka is actually Aku Aku's twin brother. Or maybe it's just a brother. But they're related anyway. So Uka Uka and Dr. Cortex then team up with Dr. Nefarious Tropy, I think that's how you say his name. They then use his time travelling warp room to collect the crystals and enslave Earth. This is when Aku Aku jumps in and takes Cortex and Coco to the warp room to get the crystals before Cortex does. So because this game has a time travel theme to it, all of the levels are then themed to different times in the history and future of Earth, and some of them a bit fancy as well. So you literally travel from prehistoric times where dinosaurs used to live to literally in a future city where all the technology is all strange and the enemies are even stranger. And each level is themed perfectly to that time. Even the warp rooms are themed and they look gorgeous. My favourite levels are the Egyptian ones. That is just because I love Egypt. So there are 5 warp rooms to beat, and in each warp room there are 5 levels. Once you have beaten all 5 levels and collected the crystal in each one, you will then have to face the boss. So let's talk about the bosses. For once, the boss is actually quite difficult compared to the first 2 games, and I died a few times on each one. The most annoying and probably the hardest one was Engine, mainly because you have to fly the plane and destroy his weapons. And the problem with that is, there was only one plane level before this boss fight, so you're still very new to these flying controls. But that's what you expect from a boss. Bosses are meant to be challenging in each game, and the ones in Crash 3 are definitely challenging compared to the first and second ones. So as I mentioned before, once you defeat the boss, you then get a new power up. There are 5 of these power ups to collect. There is the Super Body Slam, which is a more powerful version of the Body Slam, and in my opinion quite a pointless power up. It only extends the radius of the slam, and that's literally about it. There's the double jump power up that lets you jump twice, so you to get higher in the jumps or to get further on platforms. It's a pretty useful power up. There is the super spin, and this lets Crash spin for longer by spamming the square button, and can also be used for gliding across gaps. And there's also a rocket launcher. Yes, Crash gets a rocket launcher, or a bazooka, sorry. And this is used for hitting enemies far away and also hitting boxes far away. I'm not too keen on Crash getting a bazooka because it's not really Crash's style, but it's quite useful, I guess. And the last one you get is Super Speed, or Super Run, whatever it's called. And this basically lets you run faster during the platforming levels. Now this is mainly used for the time trials to get you a faster time. Other than that, it's not really worth it at all, but I think it's quite cool. And that is all 5 power-ups you can unlock in Crash 3. So overall, Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped is a great game in the Crash Bandicoot series. In my opinion, I think they did try too hard to put different types of levels in this game, but it's still a great game. The power-ups and the time relics offer more variety for people to collect in this game, and I think everyone should play this game at least once and give it a go, because I think everyone will love it. Like I said before, if you haven't seen Crash 1 review or my Crash 2 review, there'll be a link in the description below and in the card at the top somewhere, so please go check them out. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you like the video, please give a thumbs up, new channel or subscribe. Bye!